station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
And coming up in the news at noon, remembering a hero, Metro worker Robert Cunningham, who saved lives during the Potomac Avenue shooting, will be laid to rest. How the community is honoring him. And later, a ban on gas stoves could be coming sooner than you think. What you need to know.
And what a beautiful Valentine's Day it is out there so far for us. Sunshine, warm temperatures. Are they here to stay throughout the rest of the day? And are we looking at rain chances by the end of the week? We'll have that full forecast here in just a bit.
All right, thank you, Damon. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us for the news at noon. I'm Mark Hall. Happening across the DMV, a gathering to pay the respects to a Metro worker, Robert Cunningham. Now, Cunningham is hailed a hero after he tried to jump in and help a woman being attacked and was shot and killed in the process. DC News Now's Tosin Fakile has more from Silver Spring, where the visitation was held this morning.
That 64-year-old family man who left behind a wife and 4 children will finally be laid to rest today. Many got to pay their final respect during visitation hours today at St. Camilla's Catholic here in Silver Spring. Also parked here, people with Metro paying respect with his face on 3 buses right here parked at the church. This church, St. Camilla's Catholic, that visitation hour from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. It was followed by a mass of Christian burial from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. We've seen several law enforcement agencies here, some of them on motorcycles, some of them in cars. We saw huge crowds coming out of the church here in Silver Spring, and it's been an outpouring of love for this hero here in Silver Spring.
I would say thank you for everything he did to the family and for the kind of man he was. And that's it. You know, right now I have no words.
Many remembering Cunningham as a hero after that shooting earlier this month. We've also heard the bells toll several times here after the events at this Catholic church. Cunningham will be buried at Congressional Cemetery today. For DC News Now, I'm Tosin Fakile.
All right, thanks, Tosin. We're going to have much more in the story coming up in DC News Now at 5.
Suspect in this incident was located outside of the MSU campus, and it does appear that that suspect has died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. We are sad to report that there have been 3 confirmed fatalities.
That was the Michigan State University's interim deputy police chief announcing the heart-wrenching news last night. 3 people killed, several more critically injured after a gunman goes on a shooting spree at Michigan State University. DC News Now's Joseph Omo has the details about another scary situation on a college campus in America.
Hey there, one lawmaker in Michigan is not mincing his words, putting out a statement saying, F your thoughts and prayers. He's, of course, referring to the mass shooting that unfolded over the course of several hours last night on the campus of Michigan State University, which is about 90 miles from Detroit. Just horrifying images that you see here coming in from the college overnight, where police say 3 students were killed. 5 more are still in the hospital with critical condition after a gunman made his way onto campus, shooting in an academic building and then another common area where students go to study and to eat. Well, at a press conference very early this morning, we also learned the suspect, 43-year-old Anthony McRae, there he is up on your screen, he shot and killed himself when he was confronted by police. I want you guys to listen now to a video that one student posted on Twitter, painting a very, very sobering picture of what it was like to witness everything unfold in real time right from his dorm room window.
Acres dynamo. Baby, we don't like something, dude. Holy.
Oh my God.
You want to get something in front of the door, bro? Yeah, bro.
Yeah. Get some.
I am filled with rage that we have to have another press conference to talk about our children being killed in their schools. And I would say that you either care about protecting kids or you don't. You either care about having an open, honest conversation about what is going on in our society or you don't. But please don't tell me you care about the safety of children if you're not willing to have a conversation about keeping them safe in a place that should be a sanctuary.
Yeah, that was Congresswoman Elissa Slotkin of Michigan there at a press conference earlier this morning. Police are still trying to answer the big question, why? Right now, they do know the suspected gunman was not a student or an employee. He had zero affiliation whatsoever with Michigan State. And as for students, classes canceled. All university activities from the classroom to the field have been canceled until next Monday. Reporting here in the studio, I'm Joseph Olmo. Back to you.
Powerful video. You can see rescuers managing to pull an 18-year-old from the rubble this morning after 198 hours of being buried alive. That was posted on Turkey's National Defense Department. The update on the death toll in Syria and Turkey right now is sitting near 37,000. That's according to the latest from several agencies. Around 32,000 of those deaths are from Turkey, according to their emergency response agency. And in Syria, has reported almost 6,000 deaths. That's according to reports from Syrian state media and the United Nations. Rescuers are still on the search for more survivors. However, time is dwindling. An emotional send-off for a hero. Here we see the Mexican Army and Air Force saying their final goodbyes to a Mexican rescue dog named Proteo. The dog was dispatched to Turkey to help search for survivors after the earthquake. Well, more than half of the nation's households power their stoves with natural gas, and nationwide, 75 cities and counties have proposed banning them. This is to prevent methane leakage. D.C. City Council said they will pay for conversions to electric stoves in households with income less than $80,000 a year. This comes as the Inflation Reduction Act of 2022, which was signed last August. It aims to invest in domestic energy production while promoting clean energy. And we'll make sure that you'll have the full story on our 5 p.m. newscast. And developing now, former South Carolina governor and United Nations ambassador Nikki Haley has announced her bid for the presidency in 2024. Haley is the first major challenger to former President Donald Trump for the 2024 Republican nomination. The former governor announced her bid on her Twitter account 2 years after she said that she would not challenge her former boss. She says that she changed her mind in recent months, citing the country's economic issues and the need for, quote, generational change. Governor Haley would be the nation's first female president and the first U.S. president of Indian descent. Well, the U.S. is working to recover several unidentified objects that fighter jets recently shot down over U.S. and Canadian airspace. Officials say that they posed no security threats, but many more questions remain unanswered. D.C. Bureau's Anna Wernicke is in Washington with the latest.
The White House says they're working to solve the mystery behind the 3 unidentified objects shot down over U.S. and Canadian airspace this weekend, but did rule out one possibility.
There is no indication of aliens or extraterrestrial activity with these recent takedowns.
National Security Council spokesman John Kirby says President Biden directed the military to shoot down the objects out of an abundance of caution.
You want to err on the side of safety here in terms of protecting our national security interests.
Kirby confirmed the objects did fly over a number of highly sensitive U.S. intelligence and military sites.
These objects do not present a military threat to anyone on the ground.
Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin says recovering the debris will take time, but lawmakers say they want answers now.
What in the world is going on?
If it's a threat to the United States in any way, shape, or form, it's absolutely unacceptable.
And Texas Republican Senator John Cornyn says if China is behind the recent objects, Americans deserve to know.
President Biden needs to explain what happened and just how concerned the American people should be. And he needs to consult with Congress and share the information he has with us.
Well, the 2023 Consumer Price Index was released this morning, so let's take a look at some of the numbers. The CPI for all urban communities went up 0.5% in January. That's after increasing 0.1% in December. That's according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. The index for energy rose 5.6% over the last year, while the food index increased 10% over the last year. Now, the All Items Index rose 6.4%. That's the smallest increase since the period recording in the October of 2021.